The average American will earn approximately $2.7 million over their working lifetime. That's not a typo. Between the ages of 22 and 65, the typical worker will have nearly $3 million flow through their hands. And yet, when you look at the median retirement savings for someone in their 60s, you'll find roughly $88,000, which means that somehow, somewhere, over $2.5 million just disappeared. Where did it go? And more importantly, why does almost nobody seem to notice while it's happening? What you're about to discover isn't just a collection of statistics about the average person's financial life. It's the blueprint of an invisible system that operates in the background of every paycheck, every purchase, and every financial decision you make. Once you see this system for what it is, you'll never look at money the same way again. My name is Tom, and I spend way too much time thinking about why smart, hardworking people struggle to build wealth even when the math says they shouldn't. If you're someone who wants to understand the hidden mechanics of money and finally break free from the patterns that keep most people stuck, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like if it helps you see the financial matrix for what it really is. Before we pull back the curtain on this invisible system, let me paint you a picture of what the surface level looks like. On the outside, the average American appears to be doing okay. They have a job that pays around $52,000 a year. They have a car in the driveway, maybe a home they're working toward owning, a streaming subscription or two, and enough money to grab lunch with coworkers a few times a week. Everything looks normal. Everything feels manageable. But here's the question nobody thinks to ask. If everything is so normal, why are 49% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck? Why are 60% unable to handle a $1,000 emergency without borrowing money or selling something? Why does 1 in 4 people have more credit card debt than emergency savings? These aren't signs of individual failure. These are symptoms of a system so well designed that most people don't even realize they're participating in it. So let me show you how this invisible system actually works. The first layer operates on something I call the income expansion trap. This is where the system catches most people before they even realize they're in it. Here's how it functions. When you start your first real job, you establish a baseline lifestyle. You rent an apartment you can afford, you buy a car that gets you to work, you eat out occasionally, but not extravagantly. Your expenses roughly match your income, minus whatever small amount you might save. Then something predictable happens. You get a raise. Maybe it's 3%, maybe it's 10%. Maybe you switch jobs for a 20% bump. Your income goes up. But here's what the data shows us. 37% of Americans increased their spending last year, while only 32% increased their income. That means more people are spending more money than are earning more money. Think about the mathematical impossibility of that for a second. How can spending increase faster than earning? Because the invisible system is designed to expand your expenses automatically. Your new salary qualifies you for a nicer apartment. Your improved credit score unlocks a fancier car loan. Suddenly, you're being marketed products and services that match your new income bracket. The lifestyle inflation happens without you making any conscious decision to inflate anything. And here's the really insidious part. Each time your income goes up, you feel like you're making progress. You're earning more. You're affording better things. But your actual wealth, the gap between what you own and what you owe, barely moves. You're running faster on the treadmill while the belt speeds up underneath you. The data proves this is happening at every income level. You might think this only affects people earning modest salaries. But 32% of Americans making over $200,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. That's people bringing home somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000 a month who can't figure out how to have money left over at the end. The system doesn't discriminate based on income. It scales. The second layer of this invisible system operates through what I call manufactured urgency. This is where things get really interesting, because this mechanism works on your psychology rather than your math. Consider the buy now, pay later industry, which has exploded in recent years. 1 in 3 consumers has used these services to purchase something they couldn't afford to pay for up front. On the surface, this seems like a harmless convenience. You want something, you split the payments, you get it now. No big deal. But here's the twist. The people using these services the most aren't struggling college students or people barely making ends meet. It's high-income earners making between $100,000 and $150,000 per year. People who could absolutely afford to pay for these purchases outright are choosing to finance them instead. Why? Because the invisible system has trained them to optimize for cash flow rather than wealth. They've learned to ask, can I afford the monthly payment, instead of, should I be spending this money at all? And once you shift from thinking about total cost to thinking about monthly cost, you can justify almost anything. That $1,500 couch isn't $1,500 anymore. It's $125 a month. The $40,000 car isn't $40,000. It's $650 a month. The system converts every purchase into a subscription, and subscriptions feel manageable even when they're slowly bankrupting you. This brings us to the third layer, the compounding illusion. This is perhaps the most elegant part of the invisible system, because it uses the very mechanism that should build wealth against you. Everyone knows compound interest is powerful. Even if you don't understand the exact math, you've probably heard that starting to invest early is important because of compounding. But here's what the statistics reveal. 28% of people who roll money into an IRA leave it sitting in cash, not invested. Just sitting there, earning practically nothing, while they think they're building wealth. These people did the hard part. They opened the account, they transferred the money, they followed the conventional advice, and then they stopped one step short of actually investing, which means their money isn't compounding at all. It's just depreciating with inflation. But it gets worse. The compounding illusion also works in reverse. That credit card debt Americans are carrying, now totaling over $1.2 trillion, is compounding against them. When you have a balance at 20% interest, that's negative compounding working around the clock. Every day you don't pay it off, the system grows stronger. The math that should be building your wealth is instead building someone else's. Consider this comparison. If you put $400 a month into an investment account earning 7% annually, you'd have roughly $500,000 after 30 years. But if you're carrying $10,000 in credit card debt at 20% interest and making minimum payments, you'll pay over $17,000 in interest alone before it's paid off. The same mathematical force, working in two different directions, one building wealth, one destroying it. And for most Americans, the destructive force is winning because that's how the invisible system is designed. The fourth layer operates through something behavioral economists call present bias. But I think of it as the comfort tax. This is the premium you pay to feel okay right now at the expense of your future self. Here's a statistic that should make this concrete. 41% of Americans say they would rather enjoy life now than save for the future. Among younger generations, that number jumps to 50%. Half of Gen Z has essentially decided that present comfort matters more than future security. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone's priorities. Life is meant to be lived, and there's real wisdom in not deferring all happiness until some distant retirement that may never come. But here's what the invisible system doesn't want you to understand. This isn't actually a choice between enjoying life now and having security later. That's a false dichotomy the system created. The real choice is between unconscious spending that provides temporary satisfaction and intentional spending that provides lasting value. Most people aren't choosing to enjoy life. They're choosing to buy things that don't actually make them happier, while telling themselves it's the same thing. The comfort tax isn't paying for comfort. It's paying for the illusion of comfort, while real financial stress builds in the background. Let me show you what this looks like with actual numbers. The median American household earns about $74,000 per year. The personal savings rate in America has dropped to around 4.4%. That means the typical household is saving roughly $270 a month after accounting for all their spending. Meanwhile, the average car payment in America is now approaching $750 per month for a new vehicle. Many Americans are spending nearly 3 times as much on their car payment alone as they are on their entire financial future. Is that car providing 3 times as much value as financial security? For a few people, maybe. For most, absolutely not. But the invisible system has normalized this allocation by making it feel like the only option. Now here's where we need to acknowledge something uncomfortable. The invisible system isn't entirely external. Part of it lives inside your own head, and it was installed there through years of programming you didn't consent to. Think about how you learned about money. Unless you were unusually fortunate, you probably absorbed beliefs through observation rather than instruction. You watched adults around you stress about bills, argue about spending, and treat money as a source of anxiety rather than a tool. You received an education system that taught you to become a skilled employee, but never mentioned how to build wealth. You entered a workforce that rewarded you for trading time for money, but never explained how to make money work for you instead. The invisible system didn't need to consciously design itself. It emerged from millions of individual choices made by people who were also caught in it, all reinforcing the same patterns, all treating financial struggle as normal rather than systematic. But here's what changes everything. Once you see the system, you can't unsee it. And what you can see, you can choose to work around. So let me show you what operating outside the invisible system actually looks like. Consider someone earning $65,000 a year, which is slightly above median. Inside the invisible system, this person's financial trajectory is essentially predetermined. They'll inflate their lifestyle with each raise, carry some credit card debt, make car payments, save whatever's left over, which won't be much, and arrive at retirement with maybe $100,000 if they're lucky. But what if that same person decided to reject the premise? What if instead of asking, "What can I afford?" they asked, "What do I actually need?" If they kept their expenses fixed at the level of someone earning $50,000, they'd have roughly $10,000 per year to invest after taxes. That's about $850 a month. Over 25 years at 7% returns, that becomes approximately $650,000. Same income, radically different outcome. The only difference is whether they participated in the invisible system or opted out of it. This brings us to the most important statistic I can share with you today, and it completely reframes everything we've discussed. When researchers studied the difference between saving more and earning higher investment returns, they discovered something that surprises most people. Your savings rate matters more than your investment returns, especially when you're building wealth from scratch. Imagine two people, both earning $100,000, racing to their first $100,000 in savings. Person A saves 10% per year, but only earns 1% returns. Person B saves 5% per year, but earns incredible 10% returns, 10 times better. You'd think person B wins easily, but person A reaches $100,000 in about 9.5 years, while person B takes nearly 12 years, despite their superior returns. The invisible system wants you obsessed with finding the perfect investment, timing the market, and chasing the next big opportunity. Because while you're distracted by those things, you're not focusing on the one lever that actually moves the needle, keeping more of what you earn. This flips the script on what most people think wealth building requires. You don't need to be smarter than Wall Street. You don't need to get lucky with some hot stock tip. You don't need a six-figure income. You need to understand the system well enough to stop participating in the parts that work against you. So let me give you the implementation framework. This is how you use this knowledge to actually change your financial trajectory. First, you need to establish what I call your immune system against lifestyle inflation. Every time your income increases, before you touch that additional money, before you even see it in your checking account, automate a transfer of at least half of it into savings or investments. If you get a $300 monthly raise, $150 goes immediately into building your wealth. You never experience having it, which means you never miss spending it. Second, convert all financial decisions from monthly cost thinking back to total cost thinking. When you're tempted to finance something, calculate what you'd be paying over the entire life of the loan, including interest. That $650 car payment isn't $650. It's $47,000 over 6 years. Does that car provide $47,000 in value? Usually, the answer is no, and suddenly the decision looks different. Third, audit your subscriptions and recurring expenses ruthlessly. Not because any individual subscription is going to bankrupt you, but because they represent the invisible system's most effective extraction mechanism. Small recurring charges that seem insignificant individually, but collectively drain thousands of dollars per year from your wealth-building capacity. Fourth, and this might be the most important one, stop using net worth as your primary measurement of progress and start using savings rate instead. Net worth can be manipulated by asset bubbles, home price increases, and other factors outside your control. But your savings rate, the percentage of your income that you're converting into future wealth, is entirely within your power. Aim for at least 15%, but recognize that every percentage point matters. Fifth, check whether your retirement money is actually invested. This sounds absurd to even say, but given that more than 1 in 4 Americans have made this mistake, it's worth explicitly verifying. Log into your accounts and make sure your money is in actual investments, not just sitting in cash or a money market fund. Here's the reality that the invisible system doesn't want you to internalize. The bar for financial success in America is set embarrassingly low. When 60% of people can't handle a $1,000 emergency, simply having that $1,000 saved puts you ahead of the majority. When the median retirement savings at 65 is $88,000, having even $200,000 makes you exceptional. When nearly half the country lives paycheck to paycheck regardless of income, breaking free from that cycle is a genuine achievement. You don't need to be a financial genius to beat these statistics. You don't need to inherit money or start a successful business or get lucky. You just need to see the invisible system for what it is and make slightly different choices than the people sleepwalking through it. Every statistic we covered today represents a trap that most people fall into. Underwater on car loans, financing things they could afford outright, leaving money uninvested, carrying credit card balances, prioritizing monthly payments over total costs. These aren't random failures. They're predictable outcomes of participating in a system designed to extract wealth from you as efficiently as possible. But every one of these traps is also entirely avoidable once you know where to look. And now you know. The question isn't whether you can afford to start making different choices. The question is whether you can afford to keep making the same ones. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these statistics shocked you the most? And which one do you think most applies to your own financial situation? Your answer might help someone else recognize their own patterns, and that's how we start breaking this system together. If this video helped you see money differently than you did 20 minutes ago, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I release new content every week, breaking down the financial systems and psychological patterns that determine whether you build wealth or stay stuck. We're just getting started on rewiring how you think about money. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make starting today. The invisible system will continue operating whether you participate or not. The only question left is which side of it you want to be on.